Hi, welcome to Gotta Ping. I'm Mei Ping, the founder of Gotta Ping. As a next-gen leadership coach, I help high-performing young executives and entrepreneurs like you to navigate complex people and problems with top-notch communication and leadership skills to create sustained success. In today's podcast, I want to talk about why we should pay attention to detail and it's not always about the big picture. So let me ask you a few questions. Is your work always accurate? Is your report always thorough? Does your deliverable always contain all the information that is being asked for? If you can't answer yes to all of these questions, this will likely mean that you have not really mastered the art of paying attention to detail. I know that thinking big, strategic thinking, having big picture thinking, these are the words that you hear thrown up a lot in the corporate world or in business today. Every leader needs to have big thinking, big data, big whatever. But let me tell you today that the small things matter too. The small things are ultimately the ones that make up the big things. So there is no point creating a massive facade and telling everybody that you have a big vision, you know we need to do this, do that, or blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you didn't do anything. You didn't pay attention to details. You didn't take the little steps required to get the thing done correctly. So do you find your work consistently requires checking, double checking, triple checking, and you spend a lot of your time doing rework, fixing stuff or fixing errors and mistakes that you should have caught in the past or when you did the piece of work? Don't you feel that it just wastes a lot of time? It makes you very inefficient and worse still, extremely ineffective. This is a training that I've gotten when I spent quite a number of years actually, as an external auditor as well as an internal auditor. Attention to detail doesn't come as naturally to me as well. But the good news is, it clearly shows that it is a skill that can be learned if you really put an effort to it and practice it every single day. And for me, it was that many years I spent in audit whereby every single day, this was the biggest skill that I practiced a lot on. So I'm not saying that big picture thinking is not good. Because if we don't have a vision, we don't know where we're headed to, then that's not great as well. But what I want you to realize is that the little steps that we take and making sure that we take the right little action ultimately will lead us to the destination in a much smoother approach and a much smoother way. Imagine if you have a destination that you want to reach to, but because you are not detailed or thorough, you end up making so many detours. You have to do, redo, rethink, and just keep repeating a circular process. That's not fun, isn't it? That's very demotivating, frustrating, annoying, and irritating. So why put yourself in that situation? What good can you possibly get out of it, aside from a few learning opportunities? It's okay to make mistakes when we start a new habit, try to practice a new skill. You will not master it immediately, and that's okay. But knowing that progress is still progress. As long as you're making progress is good. I think ignoring details is ultimately what kills off big dreams, massive projects, and massive goals. So when I was in the corporate world, it's something that's very easy to see. Yes, we can have checks and balances. We can get a checker to check the maker's work and whatever not. But if the maker had done work well, we would have saved everyone's time and effort in the entire process. It would allow for more efficiency, more effectiveness, and we can even deploy some of these resources to do something that's more productive for the business. The fact is that we can't, because not everybody has attention to detail. And worse still, a lot of people don't realize that this is actually the big thing. The details are the big things. I've also seen very senior executives who are very good at pitching their ideas to get funding, to get support, to get buy-in. That's amazing for them. I think that's a skill that everybody should learn. But what kills them is when they have to submit detailed documentation, clear justifications, clear business requirements. Those documents are normally prepared. The quality is just poor. And I can say this because I used to head the governance team, both for compliance as well as business management. So these are the documents that I review every day, and some of them are pretty appalling. So if you are a young executive, a young professional who wants to level up, and even if you're a young entrepreneur who is preparing RFPs, client proposals, the advice is the same. Pay attention to all the details. Make sure that your numbers are correct. The data analytics, they are solid. You have clear assumptions, documentation, and it is presented in a way that people can actually understand. So it's back to the first day of this series where I talked about how to communicate well. It's not just talking, but it is sending your message and ensuring that the other side understand what you're trying to convey. And that is the same. And sometimes providing additional context, providing some focus on details can help the other person or the other party who is looking at whatever your document is to get a better frame of mind around the importance of maybe that project to you, that client to you, or maybe an initiative. So it's all part of negotiation, it's all part of buy-in, and more importantly, it truly supplements the work ethic. I've seen people who work so many hours, but unfortunately, they are not effective. Yes, I know it's tough love, right? A lot of people, they don't like to be told that their long hours are not worth anything. But ask yourself, what are you actually doing in these long hours? If you're just correcting errors that you should have caught, when you were doing the piece of work and you were just doing a lot of rework, redo, and re-explaining, then, my friend, the problem is with you. The hours are your own doing. Even though as harsh as that sounds, but how can you become more effective? How can you catch those errors in advance? So I can share another story with you. So when I was working at an international bank, I used to have a staff who worked with me, and we would produce reports every single month. And every single month, when she shared the report with me, I would end up catching errors from the months before, even though we had long discussions over it. I guess ultimately it's about self-awareness, because we can only, as bosses, as managers, we can only coach, mentor, and support and help to a certain extent. It's for you to pick up your slack, recognize it, and really put in, checklists or systems to check if that hasn't come to you naturally yet. But one day it will. But don't see it as a task. If you see it as a task and just waiting for someone to pick up your errors, then you are extremely irresponsible. And as you rise up in the organization, it's all about ownership and accountability. So if you can't take responsibility and ownership over what you do and you say, it's my boss's job to check, then are you sure that you're ready to become a leader? So as I said earlier in the series, leadership is about self-management. And making decisions is also a critical part. Making decisions, taking ownership, and really moving forward is what matters. And your ability to pay attention to details will move you forward, in addition to your big thinking abilities. So these two come hand in hand. The big and the small stuff come hand in hand. If you think that you can only have your big picture thinking, strategic thinking, and someone else is going to pick up the work. Doesn't work like that too, because if you end up having to present or review a piece of work, you wouldn't even know where to start because you have no idea what the details are and what you need to look out for. So as a manager and as a boss, your job is not just to supervise. Your job is also to review and provide feedback. And if you have no idea what the details are, then how can you provide feedback? How would you know if the piece of work is done correctly or not? Right? So I'll end here today. And my challenge to you is, how can you pay more attention to details in your work? Try it out and see how that works out. And I promise you that you'll massively see transformation, massive impact in your work or in business. Till next time. Thank you for joining me today. If we have not yet connected, I look forward to connecting with you. You can find me on my website, www.goddaping.com, on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. The links to my profiles are in this episode's description box. I can't wait for you to join me in the next episode of my Gotta Ping podcast. Till next time, bye!